Learn the most advanced recruiting techniques. Land the most desirable talent. Launch your company towards massive success. This is the Higher Power Radio Show with Rick Girard.
What is the right time to exit your startup? Today on our show, we're going to discuss the trials and tribulations of when a founding team member should step away from his company in order to let it grow. When to exit and how to do it in such a way to benefit your company. My name is Rick Girard, and welcome to the Higher Power Radio Show. Our mission is to provide solutions to solve the most difficult hiring challenges, to secure the best talent to ensure your company's success. Today, our guest is John Crittenden, the founder of Mondigi. John is an entrepreneur with a broad experience across asset management, sales and marketing, consumer financial brands, and digital wealth management platforms. Prior to Mondigi, he was one of the first 4 employees at Acorns and early as executives as Director of Institutional Services, one of the first and most successful robo-advisor platforms focused on wealth management. John, welcome to the show today.
Hey, Rick. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Happy to have you. So we're going to cover a few things today. We want to talk about kind of initial growth, or actually challenges with building a company. And as a founding team member, I really want to get into, when do you make the move out, right? So let's talk a little bit about your story as one of the founding team members of Acorns. What drew you to that opportunity?
So it was a real interesting moment in life. I had a great deal of experience in traditional asset management platforms. And I had just sold a registered investment advisory business and was looking for a new opportunity, or I guess open to a new opportunity.
Okay.
And I had a meeting with the founders of Acorns, Walter and Jeff Crittenden, really cool guys, excellent, smart people. And, we talked about what they were trying to do, where they were going to go, what they were thinking of doing.
Yeah, I've heard great things about them.
Really good guys. I'll introduce you if we ever get a chance.
Okay.
So, I'm looking there and I got very, very excited about this, right? I used to be in a world where we kept moving our account balance minimums higher and higher, right? My minimum client is $1 million.
Sure.
So here we are taking this entire wealth management process and reducing it to a mobile phone app where anybody can open an account in minutes and deposit $5 and be fully invested in the market professionally. It was very exciting, right?
Yeah, totally. It's
totally
game-changing.
Democratizing the whole wealth management process, and it was super excited. So
sure.
I got really excited and jumped in with both feet 100%.
Sure.
And it was fantastic.
Okay.
And a huge cultural change.
Got it. Yeah, I would imagine. So talk a little bit about the kind of the growth of the company as you were with them.
So, you have this weird mix of really, really highly educated younger folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really educated. Jeff is a mathematical, really smart guy. Jeff Crittenden, they had a really good CFO. A couple other guys, just really intelligent, but limited experience or none in professional wealth management.
Sure.
So it was this kind of strange, cultural thing. They all had tech backgrounds for the most part.
Sure.
Or that was kind of where they were coming at it from, is from a tech background, and I'm coming from it from a wealth management background.
Sure. 2 totally different worlds.
They're focused on the delivery channel. I'm focused on the end product.
Sure. Did you get used to wearing hoodies to work?
So I got used to it really, really fast. So the first time I showed up, I'm wearing a suit and tie like I'm used to doing, and
sure.
I immediately felt like an alien from another planet. So
sure.
I eased into the swimsuit and flip-flops pretty quickly.
Nice. Which is not difficult to do.
No, it's really easy to do. It's hard to get back out of, though.
Totally. Very, very true. So, tell me about the process of thinking, or like, what was your kind of Jerry Maguire moment as you guys grew the company? Like, at what point did you think, hey, man, we're going in 2 totally different directions?
So, as we were getting closer to launching the product, I guess what my mission was when I joined the team and where the mission started going, there was a divergence.
Sure.
And you just kind of get to a point where you think of, on multiple levels, 2 things. What value can I bring if I'm not 100% on board with what direction they're going?
Sure.
and what value can I receive in that environment?
Sure.
And you really do, I went home on a Friday and, was not upset, but I wrestled with it all weekend long. I went in on Monday morning and said, Walter, let's go for a walk. And we went for a walk. Walter's a walk and talk guy.
Sure.
And I said, I've come to a conclusion, we need to part company.
Got it.
And
you didn't write a big, long paper?
And I said, we're friendly. I love you
No,
guys.
I'm kidding.
I'm a brand ambassador.
Sure.
I'll stay, on as long as, they were in the middle of a capital raise at that moment. So it didn't look weird to anybody, because I was involved in lots of meetings around that. I'll continue. No, it'll be seamless.
Sure.
And we'll just kind of fade away over a time period.
Sure. So there was a pivot point then in which, maybe the business shifted or had to move in a different direction other than where you thought it was going.
So I saw and still see, based on my experience and market studies, the opportunity for digital wealth management platforms are 30 to 50-year-olds who already have investment accounts.
Sure.
Their entire strategy pivoted to millennials exclusively.
Sure.
And more of a collecting consumer spending data and marketing opportunities and all those types of things.
Sure.
And it's kind of like in my heart of hearts, I know that's not where the answer is. That's not where the opportunity is.
Got it.
There's over $8 trillion in existing retail fee-based accounts out there, and literally a huge, significant portion of that could be disintermediated right now with the right platform, and it's 30 to 50-year-olds who already have accounts.
Got it. So what were the things that you wrestled with in your decision process?
Well, the normal things. I came to love this thing, right?
Yeah.
I was there at not at the absolute beginning, but very, very early on, and to watch this product, evolve and get ready and launch, it was unbelievably exciting.
Oh yeah. Totally.
And then you launch the product and you look at the data board and see, we've had 1,000 downloads, we've had 3,000 downloads, we've had, and you're watching all the activity go on. It's exciting.
Oh yeah.
And you get very emotionally attached to it. I didn't get emotionally attached to some of the large corporations I've worked for. You get very emotionally attached to a startup.
Oh, absolutely.
And
it's your baby.
And even if it's someone else's baby, I'm changing the diaper now.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
it's like,
sure. You're still burping it.
I'm doing some of the duty.
Yeah.
And and you build some strong bonds, with people over that process.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing that I grappled with. They were also in the middle of a capital raise, right? And I didn't want it to look. I didn't want to be disruptive to that process. And then also selfishly, my own self-interests, right? I've got a big options contract that isn't fully vested. I walk out now, I leave a bunch on the table.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of things that you have to weigh to make that decision.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And wrestling with it over a weekend, that must have been a sleepless weekend.
It was a very sleepless weekend, which culminated after a couple of sleepless weeks.
Got it.
It was just literally everyone, in my personal life was like, you just need to shut up about acorns, okay? You need to stop, because I was coming home and bringing it home.
Got it.
And the frustration was obvious.
Got
it just finally came down to, all right, I like what they're doing, but their vision of where this thing can go and what it can be is different than mine. And the buckets of water I was carrying was going up this hill, and they were starting to go up a different hill.
Yeah. And the important thing to remember here is that, look, companies are going to pivot. They have to. And in whichever direction they go, if it's not congruent with your vision, it's okay to step away.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the message that we want to give everybody. If you're a founder and you're at a company right now and you're seeing it going in a different direction than where you want to be, it's okay to move on.
I think
it's okay to give up your baby.
I'll tell you, you'd be a lot happier.
Yeah.
You find peace with doing that, even if you walk away from an unvested options contract.
Yeah.
Which, was a consideration. But I'm sitting there thinking, hey, look, I've made pretty good money in the past. I'll do it again. It's not that big a deal. It just wasn't worth it.
Yeah. Well, far too often I talk to people too in my day-to-day recruiting activity where people are only staying, they're miserable at what they're doing. They're staying just because they have options that are locking them in.
Right.
and or they have some sort of monetary compensation that's locking them into being there, even though they go home and they just hate their lives.
Sure. And I mean, let me tell you, if it's a life-changing number, okay, that's maybe a little different. You know, if it's going to impact your family for generations, like a big number.
It could be, but you don't know, right?
Well, you don't always know.
Yeah. With a startup, it's kind of a crapshoot.
It is. Absolutely.
I mean, if it does happen, then fantastic. But you know, you also have to be realistic in the fact that at least you knew that you probably weren't the right person to be there to take it to the direction they want to go.
I had no interest in taking it in the direction they wanted it to go, and my skill set was not matched to what direction they wanted it to go.
Yeah.
You know, they're focusing on marketing to millennials.
Yeah.
And opening up numbers of accounts, where I'm focused on that's collect assets under management.
Yeah.
And the demographic we need to target is not millennials, it's 30 to 50-year-olds.
Definitely. Okay. Hey, we're going to take a quick break right now. So we're talking to John Crittenden, the founder and CEO of Mondigi, and talking about when it's okay to step away from your role as one of the founding members of a team. When we come back, we're going to talk about how to approach how to have those conversations with your management team and let them know that you're moving on.
You're listening to Higher Power with Rick Girard, giving you access to recruiting techniques that will help you hire key talent to build your company towards real success. Rick is a recruiting executive and entrepreneur who's been successfully recruiting in the aggressive Silicon Valley technology landscape for the past 2 decades. After a very successful stint at Apogee, he founded Stride Search in 2012. Based on a lean efficiency model, Stride has uniquely positioned itself as a leader in retained search for the most critical talent hires within a small organization. Whether you're a startup executive or recruiting professional, by listening to Higher Power with Rick Girard, you will walk away with skills to help you attract and hire great talent. Now back to Higher Power with Rick Girard.
Hey, welcome back to the Higher Power Radio Show. I'm your host, Rick Girard, and we're talking to John Crittenden about when it's okay to exit your company. So we just covered kind of some of the reasonings behind why somebody would want to, as a founding member of a company, make a move. Now we're going to explore how and when to approach your management team to have that conversation. So, in your opinion, how should a founder exit?
So, you know, everyone has their own reasons for exiting. Mine were all positive and good.
Sure.
And there was no animosity.
And they all should be.
And they all should be positive and good.
Don't have a fit and have a real Jerry Maguire moment
Right.
where you're making a scene.
Help me help you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So
who's coming with me?
Yeah. No, I mean, it was all very amicable. And I have a great deep fondness for Walter and Jeff, the founding father and son. And, you know, it was all for positive reasons, all for the right reasons. And the way I handled it was immediately. So no letters, no emails. I came in on a Monday morning, said, it's the very first thing I said, we need to go for a walk.
Did you guys have conversations leading up to this at all? About how you were feeling?
Not conversations, but you could feel friction building.
Got it.
And, you know, I got news for you. I was not going to change the direction of the ship.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Yet I didn't want to go in the direction the ship was going.
Sure.
So I made the immediate departure with the door wide open to continue, you know, handling things that need to get handled on an interim basis.
Yeah.
There was no animosity. It was all very friendly.
Got it. Okay. So, you know, leading up to it, you know, so talking about a little bit about the friction that you had that was kind of building up, was the friction kind of due to, hey, they wanted to move this direction and basically you were just not feeling it at all, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No personality frictions. Nothing. It was clearly a break in strategic direction.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Which did not manifest itself emotionally.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No. not at all.
Again, I just want to make the point that if you're going to
Well,
do this sort of thing, you want to remain calm and you want to really think it through before you don't be reactive to it.
You know, talk to my daughter whether it manifested emotionally or not, right? It was,
Okay.
but it didn't.
Not at work, though.
Not at work.
Yeah, got it.
You know, we save the fun stuff for home.
Got it. All right. I'm sure your daughter really appreciated that. So let's talk about, so I believe being proactive about really everything that you do in the process, especially from the recruiting perspective all the way through, leaving a company. You should have those conversations, especially when you're starting to feel it. But you handled it really well where, hey, let's just go for a walk. Let's talk about it. And this is how I'm feeling. And I think far too often people don't do that. They just kind of grin and bear it.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it. I kind of it's almost like a moral decision where, look, I'm not going to bring any more value here. I'm just not going to. I'm not in it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. And to hang on for incremental, vesting of options or whatever, it didn't even feel right. I just couldn't even do it.
And you bring up a big point there, right? If you're mentally checking out, why not just check out?
Check out.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that there are so many people that sit in opportunities, again, because they've got some sort of equity piece or monetary compensation that's just keeping them there.
Yeah,
and a lot of times they're killing the morale of the company.
Oh, they absolutely are,
Yeah.
and themselves, you know. And I know there's an economic reality. You have to pay the mortgage and feed your family and take care of business and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do something stupid and put yourself in a financial jeopardy.
Sure.
But assuming that those things are covered and you're fine, if you're not going to deliver 100% of your value to an enterprise, especially a startup,
Yeah, absolutely. Step out.
get out.
Yeah.
If you're at a massive corporation with 100,000 employees, if you're operating at 50% versus 80% or 90%, it doesn't make much difference.
No.
When you're at a startup where resources are tight and execution is key,
Yep.
if you're not contributing 100%, you're a drag on
So very true.
the enterprise.
So very true. So let's talk about the importance of really thinking about the business first, because I think you did a great, masterful job of doing that, right? So what is the importance of thinking about the business first? I mean, as you join a company, you want to leave it better than how you found it,
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
right?
I do. That's how I'm wired.
Yeah, that's how I'm wired too.
It's I want to make an impact. And
Sure.
that's what's really cool about startups is you can make an impact.
No.
It's real hard to make an impact on a multi-billion-dollar corporation, but you can see your impact at a startup.
Yeah. And how you exit, though, is not the impact that you want to leave them with.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I know I did, some of the positive things there. The pricing matrix, I came up with was a very positive thing. I can go on the app right now and look at some of the verbal descriptions of the portfolios. I know I wrote those. There's
Sure.
some really cool stuff going on there. I think I, at one point, prevented them from going down kind of a goofy road. And I said, let's make this app more like Apple-esque, okay? Let's transcend demographics. Let's make it, Apple is a masterful analogy. 13-year-old girls wait in line to get the newest iPhone, and so do 60-year-old businessmen wait in line to get the newest iPhone.
And so do 70-year-old radio show hosts.
There, it transcends, right?
Yeah, it does.
And I that's what I wanted the brand to do, was
Sure.
transcend. Don't make it childlike and goofy, for 22-year-olds, but also don't make it so unbelievably, make it
complex that somebody
complex.
older couldn't use it.
Make it, that sophisticated simplicity that would transcend.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think my biggest impact on the app was that message.
Okay. Yeah, and most definitely. But just looping back around to your exit, right? So you did some really selfless things. I mean, sticking around until they got the capital raise was really important. Thinking about the business first. I just want to stress that this conversation, I'm sure you had with the founders saying, hey, look at, I know where we are here. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that we continue forward. But after we're done with this, I'm out. So, again, it's a proactive approach to what is mostly a reactive situation for a lot of people.
Sure. I think what it came down to is luckily, there was no single event, no blow up, no, no major conflict. It was more of a personal strategic decision that I've exhausted my value here.
Sure.
On a two-way street.
And you had the foresight to do that.
Yeah.
Again, taking yourself out of the mix, that's a difficult thing to do, right?
Very.
To pull your own self-interest out of that and say, look, I'm not gonna benefit the business anymore.
Sure. No, they just launched the product. This was the hottest tech startup in Orange County, if not Southern California at the time.
Yeah.
People are like, what are you doing? You're crazy.
How much flack did you get?
A lot, and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm going nuts though, and I'm not gonna provide value here. I have a lot of creative energy and a lot of things I want to do, and I'm not going to be able to do them here.
Got it.
So I need, for my own, how I'm wired, I need to go do them myself.
Gotcha. Now, did you do anything to help fill your gap?
So
before you left?
the biggest thing is not make it immediately obvious to the whole world that I've departed.
Yeah.
So, I still attended some key meetings that, that we were in the middle of, that they would expect me to be at for continuity.
Sure.
I still, even to this day, consider myself a brand ambassador for Acorns. I only have wonderful things to say about them.
Sure.
It is a really cool app. It is a really cool product.
It is. I checked it out a few days ago.
Okay, right
Yeah.
on. Thanks.
Yeah.
And, I only have wonderful things to say about the founding family.
I invested $4.
Hey, now you could, though. How cool is it that you could?
I actually didn't, but I said it.
I mean, you open an account, you put in $5, you have emerging markets,
Yeah.
you have,
Yeah.
corporate bonds, government bonds, S&P 500 stocks, the whole deal. It's unbelievable what it does.
Yeah, totally. I cut off your train of thought.
No, that's okay.
So you finished out, meetings you were supposed to be.
Yeah. I took care of anything that, needed to be taken care of, and, finalize anything that was still hanging, close loops and all that other kind of stuff.
Okay.
And
So wrapping up, what would be the best advice that you can give right now to a founder who's kind of feeling like you did, but is really not really sure if they want to make that jump because of monetary compensation or them feeling like they failed?
So barring, the necessity of taking care of your family, right? That kind of overrides, there's levels of selfishness and levels of selflessness.
Yeah.
And taking care of your family is usually number one. So barring that being a necessity, staying at an organization, especially a startup, when you're no longer 100% pulling in the same direction they are, it's a drag on them. It's a drag on their future prospects, and it becomes soul-sucking to you at some point.
I would imagine.
It's just not worth the money.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
Exactly. And so then how would you advise somebody to approach that with their management when they talk to them?
So really open and honest, non-emotional, no anger. Some people feel like they need to create conflict in order to justify the departure.
Sure.
Okay? You see it in human relationships all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to start a fight with my wife or whatever so I can fight back.
Yeah.
And don't do any of those types of things. I mean, make it real open and honest, and go for a walk is a great thing, right?
Yeah.
When people walk and talk, if there's any nervous energy, it tends to dissipate.
Sure.
And it's a good way of doing it. Just be honest and open.
Yeah.
And leave on good terms, and agree to be friends and all that other good stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a negative situation. In fact, it shouldn't be a negative situation. It should be an unbelievably positive situation for both sides.
So show the foresight to actually make the decision when you feel like you're starting to check out. Make sure that you have open lines of non-emotional communication.
Absolutely.
And exit gracefully. Make sure that you're leaving the business in a better place.
Totally. That's 100% right.
Absolutely. All right, so we're almost out of time for today's show. John, thanks again for your time investment today.
Hey, my pleasure. I'm a fan of the show, so I listen to it regularly.
Thank you.
I've gotten a lot
and
of
I
great value.
enjoy the plug.
Hey, it's true. And hopefully I've provided some value today.
Absolutely, and welcome to the Higher Power Radio Show community. Now, what would be the best way in which somebody could find you and reach out to you if they want to find out more about Mondigi?
Mondigi,
yeah.
And I have another venture called Galapagos Partners, which is a research and consulting firm.
Oh, spell Mondigi.
Mondigi, M-O-N-D-I-G-I. It's a mashup of the words money and digital.
Nice.
So my email there is all one word, jrcrittenden at mondigi.com, jrcrittenden at mondigi.com.
Awesome. Okay. So I want to thank our listening audience for tuning in to this week's episode of Higher Power. Quick thanks to our team, our engineer Paul Roberts, our producers Andrea Ballin, Shanti Ryle, and our executive producer Kim Iverson. To listen to this show and any of the past episodes, please check us out on that's H-I-R-E, powerradio.com, or Higher Power on radio on iTunes. For the latest insights on the show, you can also follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter at Rick_Gerard. Tune in next week as our guest will be Brad Hendricks, the founder and CEO of Blind Squirrel Entertainment. I'm your host, Rick Gerard, and you have been listening to the Higher Power Radio Show. Aloha.
Thank you for listening to Higher Power with Rick Gerard on OC Talk Radio.
Imagine buying a newspaper and discovering that the news you're reading is 6 months old. There isn't much that stays the same for 6 months, and the same thing goes for background checks. In a time when so much outdated information is being passed around, it's good to know that People G2 offers something different. At People G2, we provide today's intelligence, not yesterday's news. Our value-added approach offers you a fully FCRA-compliant solution that includes up-to-the-minute information. By combining industry-leading technology with old-school human investigation, People G2 is able to give you information that is accurate right now, delivered quickly through our online system, or integrated with your HR system. So ask yourself, are you comfortable working with old news, or are you ready for a different kind of background check company? Visit peopleg2.com or call 800-630-2880. That's 800-630-2880 or peopleg2.com.
When you use the Premier Rewards Gold Card from American Express, the rewards points can keep on multiplying. Buy 3 with triple points on airfare. Buy 2 with double points on gas and groceries. And a single point for pretty much every other dollar you spend on the card. Then, start choosing from over 1 million rewards to redeem all those points. Apply today and the annual fee for the first year is on us. Call 1-800-AXP-GOLD or visit axpgold.com. The annual fee for the card is $175. See terms, conditions, and restrictions at axpgold.com.
Do you want a free analysis of your inbound marketing? Do you want it in 30 seconds or less? Then check out Marketing Grader, the free marketing tool from HubSpot. It's simple. Just go to marketinggrader.com, enter the URL that you want to analyze, and Marketing Grader will instantly give you a detailed report grading your lead generation, mobile marketing, social media, competitive benchmarking, and more. It's simple, it's powerful, and it's free. marketinggrader.com.
Imagine buying a newspaper and discovering that the news you're reading is 6 months old. There isn't much that stays the same for 6 months, and the same thing goes for background checks. In a time when so much outdated information is being passed around, it's good to know that People G2 offers something different. At People G2, we provide today's intelligence, not yesterday's news. Our value-added approach offers you a fully FCRA-compliant solution that includes up-to-the-minute information. By combining industry-leading technology with old-school human investigation, People G2 is able to give you information that is accurate right now, delivered quickly through our online system, or integrated with your HR system. So ask yourself, are you comfortable working with old news, or are you ready for a different kind of background check company? Visit peopleg2.com or call 800-630-2880. That's 800-630-2880 or peopleg2.com.
Imagine what it would feel like to lose everything: your job, your home, your family, your dignity. This has happened to thousands of the men, women, veterans, and young adults we serve at Working Wardrobes. What do we do to help? We provide career development services, life skills workshops, job skills training. We provide the perfect interview outfit, and we get clients placed in jobs. Call Working Wardrobes, 714-210-2460. Donate, volunteer, invest, hire.
It's time for Branding Business, the only show that brings branding experts and corporate executives together to explore how branding your business can improve both your top-line growth and bottom-line performance. Brought to you by Rikus Baird. And now here's your host.
Welcome to Branding Business with Rikus Baird. I'm Ryan Rikus, and today's show topic is focused on a CEO's perspective on creating a leading technology brand. Today's guest is William Wang, CEO and founder of Vizio. Launched in 2002, Vizio has grown to become the first American brand to lead the U.S. in LCD, HD TV sales. Their growth is fueled by constant innovation, and they continue to lead the entertainment industry into the future by launching products such as their Vizio CoStar, which transforms any HD TV into the ultimate smart TV by merging live TV and streaming entertainment. In their latest strategic move, Vizio just launched a new line of PCs branded All-in-One, which integrate the best of a PC, but with powerful entertainment features, which I'm sure William will share more about. William, welcome to Branding Business.
Thank you.
I know you have quite an entrepreneurial mindset and background in the technology space, and I'm curious as to how you started this business. Did you see a gap in the industry, or was there something else that inspired you to start this business?
Well, yeah, I've been in the consumer electronic business for the last 20-some years, and I've been focusing on computer display in my early days. So I have an engineer background, and in 2002, I saw a great opportunity of a U.S. government pushing for the new standard of HDTV, and I see all of the competitors in the industry, such as Sony and Panasonic, they're selling the HDTV at $10,000 or $15,000, which nobody can afford. So I saw a great opportunity, and I came in, and I did it. I just made flat screen TV affordable.
Well, you make it sound so easy.
Well, it is pretty easy, but actually I never intended to be a businessman, and never in my mind I want to be an entrepreneur. I just started the business. I think it's going to be fun, and I think we can help people to enjoy an HDTV experience, and here we are. 10 years later, we're doing okay.
Well, it sounds like you've leveraged your engineering background quite well to become a very successful entrepreneur. How do you look at the world of branding and marketing a product like yours?
Well, branding and marketing is the result after our hard work. I don't believe we're here purposely try to create a brand. I do believe that we're here to please our customers. And if we have a lot of customers really happy with us, automatically people will talk about us, and there will be a brand. People will remember us or appreciate us. And that's what we're here for. We're here to create a company which is serve our customer better than all of our competitors. And we want to give, if we can't offer a customer $5 cheaper product, we will not hold back. And unlike some of our big competitors really try to make more money, we're here to make money. Don't take me wrong, we're here to make money, but we're also here to offer the best value, at the same time the best technology to our customers.
Sure. Well, it does start with a great product, and yet we've had a number of clients over the years who have an outstanding product and have great technological features to it, and with the assumption that because it's a better product, better technology, that it's just going to sell. And that's not always the case. And so you have to begin with a great product, but also then find a way to communicate the benefits of that product, not just the features, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta have a great product, but yet you gotta have a product that's affordable. For example, in 2002, I really want to buy a flat screen TV, but my wife told me there's no way I'm going to pay $15,000 for it. So having an engineer background, knowing how much these things really cost, I started building them in Asia, and I passed on the savings. I built it for $3,000, and because we're small, because we're very flexible at that time, we just pass all the savings to the consumers. And a great technology, a great product doesn't necessarily sell. You just have to have a combination of good value, and that's what we've done for the last 10 years.
William, you mentioned you've been in the monitor space, I guess, for 25 years, and you've actually started some other companies as well that were very successful. How has your view of branding changed over that time, or has it not changed at all?
Well, the branding back then, I had a computer monitor company which I started in 1990, and it was back then it's quite different. The customer we have is more corporations. Back then, IT is more for corporations, not for consumers, like today. So we had a lot of good technology, and we made a lot of. We're very successful early. Market to the corporation, the people who can afford $2,500 PCs, who's willing to pay $700 for a computer display. It's the same thing. I mean, we try to please that particular audience, but today selling TV is a lot different than selling to 5,000 or 6,000 corporations. Back then, the only thing we try to do is try to sell to those corporations who can afford a bunch of high-end computer displays.
You're right. B2B branding and marketing is quite different than consumer. So. Let me ask you this. Having the benefit of starting a number of different companies, any advice to listeners on how to go about establishing a new company? I mean, even to the point of your name, Vizio. How did you come up with that name?
Vizio was a name of the watch, which is I really want to own. That's about 30 years ago. I love that watch, but I couldn't afford. So, and
I see a pattern here.
Huh?
I see a pattern here.
Yeah, so when I started the company, I said, yeah, I'm going to call the company Vizio. So sounds pretty good, but at the same time, was actually a watch that I couldn't afford.
Well, it has worked out very well for you, and I think it implies a nice promise. It's worked out very well. So a question for you as well. Many times we're asked by entrepreneurs who are starting a company, when should they begin thinking about their brand and their brand promise? Any thoughts to share with our listeners on that topic?
Well, absolutely. I mean, you really had to pay attention to your companies. I mean, we're here for our customers, right? So we want our customers to be happy, and that's the number one focus for me since day one. I was hired into this industry, the computer industry, in 1986, right after college, as a customer service technical support engineer, and people would call on the phone, complain to me, that this doesn't work, that doesn't work, right? So that's my first experience with branding. I found it such a pleasant experience that if they call me, I can solve their problem because they will be a very loyal customer, therefore help my company enhance our brand. So I think customer satisfaction and branding is going hand to hand. And so since day one, when I started the company, I promised myself and I told everybody in the company that we got to take care of our customers. So I encourage everybody else who want to start their own business to be extremely careful with their company's reputation, because it's a good reputation will lead into a great brand. A great brand means it's repeat customers. And it's really hard to get customers into the door, and it's going to be extremely hard if that particular customer walk away from you. But if the same customer come back 2 or 3 times, I'm sure he will tell everybody else, and your brand will spread out like a wildfire. And I think we're a typical example of that. In the last 10 years, we're not Sony, we're not Panasonic, and we wasn't around for the last 40 years. We didn't spend $500 million sponsor Olympic or $1 billion sponsor Super Bowl. And however, customers really appreciate what we do. So, I truly believe that if you hold on to the principle of pleasing the customer any way you can, your brand will spread.
Well, William, we firmly agree with that philosophy, and our belief is that a brand is a promise of distinction. So you need to stand out distinctly different than your competition. At the same time, you're making a promise to them that you're going to deliver that same expectation time and time again, and that's when the brand obviously becomes very powerful. And so it seems that this mindset of yours has permeated your company, and it certainly, I think, is a foundation for your success. So another question for you. Technology companies, as you develop a brand, are at the same time reliant on your next great product, and they need to consistently reinvent themselves on an ongoing basis to make sure that you continue to be relevant. Any thoughts to share with our audience on how you and Zio?
That's the everyday challenge here. Constantly, every day, we're looking for the next best thing, the next best thing for customers. And in our industry, the technology changes so fast. I mean, our product life cycles is about 8 to 9 months. Every 8 to 9 months, we gotta come up with a better product. I still remember back then when I first launched TV, it was plasma. Back then, plasma was the best technology for flash digital TV. Today, we don't sell plasma anymore because the technology doesn't attract the latest customers' demands, such as a lower power, better, no mercury, and energy saving. So we end up switching to CD and now LED. Again, that's our everyday work here in our office. We got a bunch of people here, day-to-day basis, worry about the questions just asked me, what's the next product that we can offer to consumer which will benefit them?
Well, it seems you position your company and your brand perfectly for the future, which allows you to expand beyond where you're at today, the example you just provided. Another example allows you to go beyond HDTV and potentially own the sweet spot where HDTV, computing, and the internet merge together. Can you talk a little bit about your plans for the future in that area?
Yeah, well, we're very aggressive in TV, as most people know, and TV eventually will be more smart than the TV from your parents' time. And with the internet, people want to access more content anytime they want. We've been developing here at Vizio our smart TV platform for the last 3 or 4 years. I believe we probably have more smart TV out there in the field than almost anybody else in this industry. We have close to over 4 million active users, which use our TV to stream content directly from the internet, such as Netflix or Hulu. So the TV will get smarter, and just like similar to a phone. And we're very excited that someday, hopefully within the next 2 years, all of our TV will be smart. All of our TV will be connected to the internet, so we can also offer a great variety of choices for our consumer to entertain themselves.
Well, I think your brand is positioned well to make that leap and lead the way. I think the American consumers are ready for it. Well, you've also decided to make a significant leap in your company by adding PCs to the Vizio product line, which was a significant step. Maybe you can take us through the process of making that decision.
As you know, I came from the PC industry, so I'm pretty familiar with that industry. And I'm a big Apple Mac user. I love Macintosh. The all-in-one. I love the Super Thin Mac Air. And however, coming to work every day, I got to deal with Microsoft Windows. Last 3 years, we've been looking at this space. Why there isn't any new design, innovative technology for a PC using Microsoft Windows? So we saw that as a great opportunity. So in the last 2 years, we've been working on this extremely sexy all-in-one PC, as well as this really super ultra thin and ultra lightweight notebooks. We launched this product around summer this year. We launched a 114-inch notebook, a 15.6-inch notebook, and 124-inch all-in-one PC, and 127 all-in-one PC. So, I mean, we saw a great opportunity, and we just did it. And we believe the customer will appreciate a better-looking, prettier PC than what other competitors of ours are not offering.
Well, it seems like it's fit your other product development criteria. How has it been received in the marketplace?
It's coming up. This is we're waiting for the next big Windows 8 launch, and we have a pretty high expectation that with the new Windows 8 operation system, our PC lineup will do rather well, particularly with the coming fall season.
Well, I wish you the best of luck. I'm sure you'll perform well. You mentioned a moment ago that you like Apple. I always like to ask this question. What other brands do you admire out there?
I love Sony. I mean, I grew up having Sony as the best consumer electronic gear that you can buy, possibly. And I really envy what they did years ago. They're not doing so well right now, but, I grew up with Sony, so I really envy Sony. I really envy Nike and their innovation, and of course, Apple. Apple's is the company everybody's envy.
Well, three great brands that, well, certainly in the case of Sony and Apple, have reinvented themselves over the year. Nike stayed pretty true to their core, but just continue to offer new products and some new product extensions. With that in mind, how far do you think the Vizio brand can stretch into the future?
Well, hopefully as far as possible. There's no limit to it. We got to just keep on offer the great service we've been offering to our consumer over and over again. And hopefully by doing that, people will trust us more, will respect us more, and they will wait for our next product, just like they're waiting for the next iPhone 6.
Yeah, the number 5 has certainly been a huge impact for Apple, hasn't it?
Yes.
Well, you've at Vizio, you brand yourself as America's #1 LCD HDV company, and now that you have that leadership status in both volume and perception, maybe you can give me and our listeners a little bit of how you and your leadership team view that pressure. Is there pressure to stay #1, or how do you view that? Is it more of an emotional motivator to always stay a step ahead and to continue to evolve and outperform the competition?
Well, yeah, the pressure is definitely higher. I mean, after we became #1, the expectation became a lot higher too. In a way, we're not just competing with our competitors, but we're competing with ourselves, and we're competing with ourselves to innovate better. We're competing with ourselves to drive even a higher value into the product we put together. So the pressure is definitely on. But we're having fun. We love doing what we do, and we have a great team of people here. They're just they love that challenge. That's the reason they joined our company, because it's that challenge, right? So how do we be #1 within 10 years, and how do we become even better after we became #1?
Well, that's an interesting point. We as well find that on the topic of culture and people working together, that culture is an incredible force that can drive a business forward, or it can take a company down. So how do you really impart your leadership and your culture throughout your company?
Well, fortunately, our company is not a huge company. I mean, we have about fewer than 450 people. So I think the top management, the executive team, we can reach out to almost everybody we work with frequently, and we spend a lot of time together. We talk to them, and everybody still on first name basis. we recognize everybody's face, so it's not as hard, but it's not as easy before, because I thought it was like 2 or 3 people. And again, I truly believe to motivate our employees, our team, is work with them closely.
Well, we find exactly the same thing, and with the research we've done with hundreds of brands as we've developed them, there's a consistent finding that employees desire 2 primary things. First, a clear understanding of where the company is going, like the core statements like purpose, vision, and mission, as well as regular and ongoing communications from the executives around communicating the company's future direction and this cultural alignment. And it sounds like you've really taken that thought to heart in the way that you've gone about growing your company from that core that you mentioned a moment ago of 2 to 5 people, now 450 people. Any further thoughts on how you get communication through to everyone, and now that you've grown to that size, internally? Yeah,
well, I think a lot of motivation will help, and we do have this policy of ours for the last since almost the beginning that we do the profit sharing. So quarterly we get together with everybody in the company and we share profits. We give everybody a bonus check. And fortunately, even though the economy is bad, Vizio has been profitable for the last few years. And every quarter we take a lot of money out and we share with all the employees. Which is once we motivate them, then they have even higher desire to work closer with us. And at the same time, our company, we're making our mission very straightforward and simple. I found it pretty effective. We're not giving our people a lot of different things to do. We're not saying that, okay, today we're going to go after a consumer, tomorrow we're going to go after all the IT industry, and the next thing, let's go sell a lot of PC into Fortune 500 companies. We don't do that. We're very focused. We're here only focused on consumer. We're here only focused on a few direct account we have, and our mission are very straightforward: provide the best value at the most affordable price. It's easier to preach that over and over again every day versus if you have a different agenda. So our agenda hasn't really changed at all for the last since the beginning.
Well, it's good to hear that. We as well feel that focus is at the heart of branding, and sacrifice is at the heart of strategy. And for you to have a clear brand strategy that remains focused really creates a more powerful brand, both internally and externally. It sounds like your employees are motivated by the opportunity to become accomplished at what they do, and then I'm sure the quarterly profit sharing only helps with that and reinforces that. So maybe you can expect more job applications after people listen to this interview.
Great.
Well, I see the Vizio brand out there more, not only at retail, but also it seems like you are getting a little bit more aggressive in your marketing on TV, for example, and in other applications. Marketing is, continually evolving and changing. Maybe you can speak just a moment to our listeners on how you and your team view marketing as a means to really position your brand in the mind of the consumer.
Yeah, well, marketing is such a broad term, and we are a marketing company, literally. We market our product every day to a consumer. As far as advertising is concerned, I look at it as just a decoration and make what we do every day even prettier. And we do TV advertising, and we do all kind of different activities to spread our brand around. And I believe everybody in the company carry the responsibility to spread our brand around. And that's the way I look at our marketing strategy, is to focus on what we do and make sure everybody know about it.
Good. Both internal, everybody has responsibility, as well as you're willing to spend the right amount of money to reach the right amount of people. Well, Wayne, we're almost out of time, so let me just conclude with one question. As a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar organization, what keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up at night? Fortunately, we've been doing very good. I've had nothing else I'm hoping for. And, of course, like any other businessman, I want to be more successful. I want to make more money. But there's really nothing keeping me up at night these days, because I feel pretty good that we have a great team. And if anything will keep me up at night will be, how do we even enhance our team? I'm not a micromanager in this company. I believe that if you build a great team, we build a great foundation, the customer will come. So, fortunately, even though the economy is bad, I sleep pretty well these days.
Well, William, you built a heck of a company, and it sounds like you got a great philosophy, vision, and culture at your organization. I'm sure you'll do well in the future, and best of luck. Thank you for being a guest on Branding Business. Are there any final thoughts or insights you'd like to share with our listeners today?
No.